Hey guys, QB here. Just giving you a quick video about Kerbal Space Program, partially in response to Scott Manley's video on RCS being overpowered, also an update to the previous video I had about, well, screw physics. Now here's Aerodynamics 2, successor to the previous plane I've made. It's got less aerodynamic surfaces, but it's also a lot lighter, so it doesn't need all the control it previously needed. It has no fuel. Doesn't have an engine. It runs off magic. I've made sure that the whole thing is balanced, as you can see, just to make sure that this thing has enough control when it's in the air, but as you'll see, it doesn't need anything other than the will to fly by the pilot. As soon as you get the chance to, you want to put your flaps facing up or down. This allows, for what I can gather, some form of air current to flow over the wings. And with the control surfaces up or down, it sort of fools the physics engine into thinking you're moving at some speed and gives you lift. And of course, giving you a lift gives you power. Giving you power allows you to move. And over a short period of time, you'll start to pick up speed. As you can see, I'm at there approximately 10 meters per second and still gaining, accelerating. At about 20 meters per second, you'll start to be able to lift off, at least with this weight of plane. I've tried for a couple of different sizes and weights, and they all seem to obey similar rules of physics, in the sense that if you can get enough speed, they'll take off. And without an engine, it can struggle, but they do usually take off. Now, the surprising thing is, without an engine, without thrust vectoring, you'd think this would be, well, apart from impossible, very difficult to control, but as you can see, apart from a lot of diving and swanning around in the air, it's actually surprisingly maneuverable. You can turn on a penny on a dime and just come swooping around and doing all sorts of weird and wonderful maneuvers. Of course, if you're not paying attention, you will inevitably just crash into the ground. Now, trying this again from the cockpit view, I thought I'd see how difficult it was to control, and to be fair, it's quite an interesting way to fly. I mean, usually in Microsoft Flight Simulator, or any other flight simulator for that matter, you've got something pushing you and you don't have to worry about which way you're facing and how high you're going, because, you know, you've got the power behind you. In this, it's actually quite exhilarating in the sense that you have no idea how far off the ground you are. Not really. I mean, you've got the radar altimeter, but that's not going to help you. Not at this low distance. Or low altitude even. But an interesting fact you might learn, when you're inside the cockpit, apparently it's indestructible. As you can see here, I'm about to crash, but what do you know? The whole thing didn't explode, it just broke off. So if you want to keep your commands alive, that's how you do it. Finally, I thought I'd experiment with how the physics engine works when you're doing a time acceleration within the atmosphere. And it breaks physics further. Now, it does give you the warning that if you use physics acceleration, that it can damage your game or damage your aircraft or spacecraft. But what it allows you to do is to pick up speed 2, 3, or 4 times as much. It accelerates all the physics, which I suppose makes sense. So if you want to get something heavy off the ground on a runway without using fuel, at least to a point, like if you want to get to a certain point, that's the way to do it. Now, I'm trying to come in for a land here, but without the engines, it's a bit difficult to get over to the runway. I foolishly left a bit too far, and it takes a while for me to get there. But because it's so controllable, as you can see, it's very easy to figure out where I am and, you know, translate left and right a bit. But because of the lack of power that this thing has, I accidentally touched down once or twice. But lifting myself up just enough to get over that dreaded lip from the runway, I just about scoot over. Yeah, just there. But then when I turn around, I'm veering off the runway again. But lo and behold, once I get back onto the runway, I'm safe and dry. It's relatively easy to pull up and park. Now, as we all know, the one major flaw of any vehicle is having 3 wheels. when you brake or turn hard, a three-wheeled vehicle will want to turn on its corner, and boy does this one. If you're going to land, you either have to land perfectly or you're never going to fly it again. So, good luck. But there you have it. A vehicle which uses no fuel and can fly regardless. I hope you enjoyed the video and have fun.